Governor Corbett's budget proposal has been presented, and now the House Republicans have introduced their changes. Let's spend 5 minutes discussing them with State Representative Joe Emrick. Welcome.
Thank you, Lori. It's great to be here.
Good. Glad to have you. And Governor Corbett's plan has some differences and some similarities with what the House Republicans have put out. Let's start out with the things that are the same.
Okay. First of all, I think the House budget holds the line at $27.3 billion. I think that was an agreed to and an acceptable amount considering the deficits we face. This budget proposal has no tax increases, does not increase borrowing at all, and you know, we are adamant that this budget get done on time. So those are some of the similarities with the budgets between the governor and the House plan.
And even though you're of the same party,
yeah,
everything is not always going to be agreeable between the parties. What are the differences?
Well, since the governor announced his proposal, you know, I've been advocating extensively to restore some of the fundings back to education, being a teacher myself for 18 years and that being a very important issue for me. You know, one of the big differences is the House plan, in my opinion, creates a far more shared sacrifice across the board, where we've taken considerable amounts of money that were put into the welfare department by the governor and shifting those back over to education. For example, the basic ed subsidy was increased by over $200 million. We increased funding to the higher ed, both the state-owned and state-related universities. So there have been some substantial increases back. I know the accountability block grant was also something that was increased by $100 million as well. So,
do you want to explain what that accountability block grant is and why that's a great tool for school districts?
Yeah, it is a great tool in school. I've gotten a lot of emails and responses both from parents and teachers and administrators that this is a critical line item for them, because it gives the school districts a lot of flexibility with what they can use that money for, and a lot of schools have chosen to fund all-day kindergarten with that. And I have a kindergartner right now, my wife and I, and you know, she goes to all-day kindergarten in Nazareth, and you know, that's a very important issue for a lot of people, and it gives schools that flexibility to have those programs and offer those for the kids. And you know, it was really important, and I'm glad to see that we've put that back into the budget.
Oftentimes the money comes with strings attached, so it's nice for them to have a choice.
Yes, that is correct. Yep.
And then you mentioned that the money would be diverted from public welfare, but this is not taking money away from people who really need it. Where's the idea of the savings coming from?
That's correct. Well, the governor's initial proposal had increased funding to welfare by over $600 million. So the welfare department is actually still receiving an increase in funds. I think it's about 1.5%. So the money is being shifted. I want to make it a point that we are not increasing spending. I want to make that very clear as we shift money from welfare to education. It's just a shifting of the money among line items in various departments. So the welfare department is still seeing an increase in funding. So people who legitimately need it will have access to it. But at the same time, we're taking care of our schools, both K-12 and the higher ed. So. And
there have been some studies done that show there are some places that efficiencies can be found within the Department of Welfare.
Yeah, that's correct. The Representative Adolph, the Appropriations Chair, they decided to take the more conservative estimate of 4% in the error rates and distribution of those welfare funds, rather than the far more extensive Auditor General Jack Wagner's reports of 13 or 14%, just to make sure that we're spending the money carefully, that we're adjusting it wisely, that we're not you know, taking money away where we shouldn't be. So that's where that money came from. Adjusting it out of welfare was based on the Rendell administration's own estimation, which was approved by the federal government at 4%. So that's where those adjustments came.
Now we just have about a minute left here. Bottom line, what are some of the priorities you believe that the House Republican leaders will use as they go to craft this budget with the Senate and the governor?
Well, you know, I think it's a matter of making sure that it's done on time. You know, there's going to be this proposal by the House is not set in stone. There will be negotiations between the Senate and the governor's office as well. But I think that this is a very good start. I'm optimistic that it'll proceed and if anything, be improved based on those negotiations. And you know, the bottom line is we've got to have it done on time, and that's the most critical point. So,
well, good luck in the weeks ahead.
Thank you. I appreciate that, Lori. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. And that's all the time we have for today. If you have any comments or questions about anything you've seen, please contact Representative Emrick. His information will be on the screen in a moment. Thanks for watching.
Great. Thanks, Lori.